Greetings to all of you, dear respected parents and beloved students. Welcome back to another online lecture. So guys, look at the workbook. It is highlighted. The topic says Chapter 9 Workbook, and it is highlighted in yellow. The reason for that is I want you to focus on the workbook this time. Chapter 9 Workbook. We'll be covering that before we move any further in the Family and Friends book. The reason for that is Mr. Shankar has to talk about the grammatical points in chapters 10, then 11. He needs to get ahead of me so that when I come to a subject or a text that has some of the grammatical points, it would be easy for you to understand. That's why we're doing this. So I'm waiting for him to explain those subjects and topics. Then I will also be integrating his explanation in the texts that we have in the Family and Friends, and then we'll continue on our journey in the book. Okay guys, so if you have done your homework on chapter 9, you can progress. You can watch this video till the very end. But if you have not done any work on chapter 9 from your workbook or on your workbook, you need to stop the video. Stop watching this video, please. Go solve the exercises on chapter 9, then come back to the video and watch it, because I've solved almost every exercise on chapter 9, the workbook. Alright guys, so I just wanted to draw your attention to answer of number 9. The question says, write down 2 ways to make a piece of writing more interesting. And immediately right before that page, it talks about making writing more interesting. It actually tells you about 5 ways of doing that, but in the question it tells you write down only 2 of them. So you can write down any 2 of them. Okay, we have 5, you can write down any 2 of them. I've chosen 2, you can choose 2 different ones because we have 5. So what I've written is using a variety or different types of adjective, and the second one using direct speech or direct speech. You can write down, we can make a piece of writing more interesting by doing what? Asking a question or asking a question. That's a way to do that. Or describing people's thoughts and feelings, or using the senses. Okay, well, we could hear, see, smell, taste, or touch. So there, I just wanted to elaborate on that if this caused any confusion between you. Alright guys, so let's begin this. Now I want you to notice something. There are the pages on my PDF. I have a PDF of the workbook. They are different than yours. Only the page number and maybe the position of the pictures or the wording. So it doesn't really matter. If there is a problem, I'll tell you. Don't worry about that. So in here, in my book, it says, look at exercise 3 on page 62. I want you to actually look at exercise 3, but not on page 62. In your workbook, it is on page 66. Okay, it gives you opinions in that exercise. It says, A, his leg is better and he can play in the match. B, he can't play in the match. Finn has to play in the match for him. C, he has got tickets for the DSD club so that they can watch the match with him. D, He wants to join the DSD club when his leg gets better. So this is like some of the other exercises we've done before, is only an opinion. So you're making a prediction whether something happens or not. So which one of these did you tick? Did you choose? Which one of them did you choose? And were you right? So you are checking yourself in this position. Okay, so the next one says, number 2, read the story and match. So what does that tell you? It says, read the story if actually you need to. Some of you may not need to read the story, but I would definitely recommend you to read the story first, then do these matches. You match, for example, number 2 with one of them. However, I'll be giving you the answers for that for those questions. So, number 2 is G. Number 3 is D. Number 4 is E. Number 5 is C. Number 6 is A. And number 7 is B. So, please, when you want to write down my answers, try to pause and then resume the video. What that means is I want you to stop the video if you cannot catch up with me, and then play the video from where you stopped it. Okay guys, so this next exercise says complete the DSD club leaflet. Now a lot of you may wonder what leaflet means. Now I'll explain it in a realistic way. So have you ever been like when in your parents' car and then somebody approached you and gave you a piece of paper that explains something, that gives a warning, for example, about a virus, or it gives you a guidance to protect yourself from something, or gives you guidance if someone is a little bit overweight, how to lose some weight and become skinnier and then become healthy. Okay, so these things are called leaflets. Moving on to the exercise, we have a couple of pictures, some words, and then a text, and then some blanks. We'll have to understand the words, then the text, then we'll be able to fill in the blanks. I'll be reading it slowly so that you can write down the solutions with me. So, football is the most popular game. So the first word is done. In the world, and in our club too. We want to make 2 teams, and we need to have 11 players in each team. Do you want to play? We need 1 person to be a goalkeeper for each team and stop the ball going in the net. All of the other players try and score as many goals as possible. We usually play in the park. We never play in a stadium. But sometimes we go together to watch a match between 2 important teams. So, what does this exercise say? Complete the sentences, right? On page 75. Again, we have blanks, we have pictures, and we have words. We need to fill them in the blanks. The first one says, the goalkeeper is giving photos to his fans. He's writing his name on the photos too. Next, after the team won the match, the mayor gave the trophy to the team captain. Next up, the athletes are doing exercises to warm up before the race. Next up, number 4, the coach is watching the basketball team. They are doing their training so they are ready for the game next week. Okay, that was it for that exercise. Next up, you are going to match the words that are in that box with their opposites. So, guys, antonyms, like we explained in the previous lecture, are opposites, right? Good, bad. heavy, light, smart, lazy, active, inactive. Okay, antonyms, they are opposite of each other. So the first one is already done. First one says deep, shallow. Deep and shallow are antonyms. Clean, what is the opposite of clean? It's dirty. And then noisy, what is the opposite of noisy, or what is the antonym of noisy? It is quiet, just like I say it every time in your classes. Okay guys, look at this exercise. It's very, very fun. Now first of all, read the instruction. It says what? Complete the sentences. Okay, so that means that we have sentences that are incomplete. They're not complete. Next instruction says use the antonyms of these words. So you have words deep, quiet, clean, and win. So it tells you to use the opposite of these words in the blanks. Okay, so this is why this exercise is actually very fun and a little bit challenging. The first one is already done. The second one says you mustn't watch that. Sorry, you mustn't touch that. It's what? It's very dirty. So we have the word clean here. We need to use the opposite of clean and write down dirty. Okay. Number 3 says, what a disaster. If they don't score soon, they'll what? They'll lose. What is lose opposite of? It's the opposite of uh, win. So number 4, my little brother is very what? You can see the picture that he's very, very noisy or loud. So you can say my little brother is very noisy instead of quiet. Why? Because it says use the antonym of the words above. Alright guys, so turn to next page 76. This says this exercise is between two people, James and Faye. They're having a conversation and the instruction says we're going to circle. But circle what? The right answers. I'll be reading the conversation and along with that I'll be reading only the right answer. What are you doing in the summer holidays, Faye? Well, Mom and Dad were looking at some websites. So I'm sure we will go away on holiday. Cool. Where will you go? I don't know. Mom speaks Spanish, so we could go to Spain again. But we went there last year, so we may go to a different country this year. What about you? Well, we definitely won't go on holiday by plane. Why not? Dad could want to, and I know he will say flying is too expensive. But I think I might go and visit my grandparents. Well, I'm sure that will be fun. Alright guys, so the next exercise says, look at Fred's notes and write sentences. Use might or will or won't. Okay? So we have some information. We know we have 2 days. And then we have some information about Fred. Okay, so we're gonna observe the picture, and most importantly, I want you to focus on something that is clear in the picture. So when it says, number 1, go to football practice, you can see something right next to it, which is a tick. Okay, it has been ticked, so that means he will do that thing. The next one, there is a question mark, so that's a possibility. We don't know whether he will do that or not, so you need to use might. The third one, there is a cross next to the phrase, so he will not do that. So these ticks, question marks, and crosses, they tell you whether they will, might, or not do something. Okay, let's solve the exercise now. I'll begin with number 3 because the first and second are done. Instead of he, I will use Fred. I will use the name. So, Fred will not go camping on Saturday. Number 4, Grandma and Grandpa will visit Fred on Sunday. Number 5, Fred might play video games on Sunday. Number 6, Fred will do his homework on Sunday. Number 7, he won't stay up late on Sunday. Why? You can see that it says test tomorrow. So he won't stay up late. Okay guys, so look at this exercise on page 77. What do you have here? It says look at the table and answer the questions. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Please focus on the ticks and crosses on each of the pictures when it asks you in the exercise. Now, let's look at the first example and see what's going on. It asks and says, do Tom and Charlie have to help with the shopping? Now look at the first picture and see Tom and Charlie. Do you see a tick on both blocks? Yes, there are 2 blocks. So the answer is yes, they do. They do have to help with the shopping. Let's go on to the next one, number 2. It asks only about one person. It says, does Tom have to wash the dishes? So, who is washing the dishes in the picture? It's not Tom, it's Charlie, right? So because we have a cross on Tom and then a tick on Charlie. So it says, does Tom have to wash the dishes? You write the answer and say, no, he does not. So no, he doesn't, or no, he does not. Number 3, does Tom have to take the rubbish out? Who's taking the rubbish out? Tom actually is taking the rubbish out. So the answer is yes, he does. Number 4, it says, do Tom and Charlie have to help in the garden? Now, let's see how many crosses and ticks do we have. We have 2 crosses, so that means they don't help in the garden. So, do Tom and Charlie have to help in the garden? No, they do not, or no, they don't. Number 5 says, do they have to tidy their bedrooms? So you see 2 ticks on the last picture. So both of them have to tidy their bedrooms. The answer to that is yes, they do. And by the way, guys, this has a lot to do with the grammar point, which is tail questions or question tags or tag questions. They're all the same. Okay, for the next exercise, guys, you must use the table again, right? You have to use the table again. First one says Tom and Charlie, and by the way, you have to write sentences, right? So instructions first. Look at the table again, write sentences. Your job is 2 things. You look at the table and then you write sentences about them, okay? And you also have another piece of information. For example, in the first one it says Tom and Charlie / tidy their bedrooms. So what is the answer? Tom and Charlie have to tidy their bedrooms. Now let's go to the second one. Charlie. Let's look at Charlie and see whether he has to wash the dishes or not. Well, yeah, we see in the picture that Charlie is actually washing the dishes. So Charlie has to wash the dishes. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Number 3, Tom and Charlie / help in the garden. So Tom and Charlie don't have to help in the garden. That's based on the picture. Number 4, Tom and Charlie have to help with the shopping, right? They both shop and they help with the shopping. Number 5, Charlie doesn't have to take the trash out or the rubbish. It doesn't matter. They're synonyms. So guys, next exercise. It says what? Write questions and answers about your jobs at home last week. So that last week tells us that whatever questions or answers that we have or that we create, they must be in the past form. Why? Because it says last week. Okay. So the first one says, Did you have to help in the garden last week? Well, the first one is already done for you so that you know what's going on. If yes, then you say yes, I did. If no, you say no, I did not, or I didn't. Now, did you have to, for the second one, we say, did you have to help with the shopping? Now, for me personally, I will answer that question. You can answer the other ones by yourself, for yourself, that because this is something that has to do with you. So, yes, oh sorry, did you have to help with the shopping? As a matter of fact, yes, I did. So my answer to that would be yes, I did. Next one, did you have to tidy your bedroom? That is the question part. Yes, I did. Or no, I did not. Next up, did you have to wash the dishes? No, I did not. Number 5, did you have to take the rubbish out? No, I didn't. Or no, I did not. Alright guys, so page 78, lesson 5, it says what? Read and look at the process text. What is your pulse rate? Okay, so you are going to read the text and you are going to tick only one of them. Which one do you think you are going to find out? Now, what I found out was I was able to actually know how many times my heart beats in a minute. So once you read the text, you will actually know how to test your heartbeat or your pulse rate. Once you do that, just out of curiosity, write down the number of your pulse. That's actually a bit fun. I did it and my heartbeat was like 62 times a minute. That's something I didn't know about my heart. However, let's go on to the exercise that's about this reading. I want you to circle the right answers, and I will be reading the sentences only with their correct choices or answers. So number 1, your heart pumps blood around your body. Number 2, you can count your heartbeat. Number 3, you can feel your pulse in your wrist. Number 4, count how many beats there are in 30 seconds. Not in 1 minute or 1 second, in 30 seconds. 30 seconds is the right answer. You need to multiply the number of beats by 2. Number 6, when you exercise, your heart works faster. Okay guys, let's move on to the next exercise. Words in context complete the text on page 79. All parts of our bodies need oxygen to work properly. We get oxygen into our lungs when we breathe in. The oxygen moves around the body in our blood. The heart pumps the blood to keep it moving around. The blood takes carbon dioxide, which is CO2, back to our lungs. This is called the process of circulation. Now let's move on. Complete the sentences with the words from page 78. Okay, so we have some words taken from page 78. We're going to use them to fill in these blanks. Number 1 is already done. It says a beat is a repeated movement or sound. Number 2 says your wrist is the thinnest part of your arm next to your hand. Number 3 says something that stays the same and doesn't change is steady. Now let me elaborate or explain more on that word steady. Steady basically means something that doesn't change, which says it in here. So let's put it in a sentence. If someone's condition is steady, like for example, someone is sick and he's in the hospital, and he has not become any better, or he has not become any worse than before. So he has been steady. His condition has been steady. It has not changed. That's why we say that his condition has been steady for some time now. That's what steady means. Number 4 says your pulse rate is the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. It says what? Complete the text, write the letters in the correct order. Now, these words are all taken from the text pulse rate. So we have a text on page 78 that says pulse rate. All the blanks or the words that you see that are scrambled or mixed together, they are actually words from page 78 in the text pulse rate. So this is a fun exercise. I hope that you've done it and done it well, because it's really fun. I would love to see more exercises like that. It's really fun. Now I'll be reading the whole thing with the solutions. Put your fingers on your wrist and feel the steady beat. Steady beat. Count your pulse rate. Write it down. Run for 1 minute. Notice how you breathe. Are you breathing fast or slowly? Count your pulse rate again. Is it higher or lower? When you do exercise, your body needs more oxygen. Your lungs and your heart have to work harder. Alright guys, so turning to page 80, we are going to talk about this exercise. This exercise is actually fun. It's about writing, right? So read the fact files. You have to read about the facts about these files. Whose files? The files of these athletes, right? Frank Alesi, Jeremy Drake, and Pat Connor. We have information about each of them. Read those facts and then move on to see what we are asked to do. So it says what? It says read the notes. Which athlete are they about? So we have notes here, okay? We have notes right under the three pictures. We have some notes. It talks about one of these athletes. It says what? When start? 7. With older sister. Next information says, or note says where started. Where start? Joined school club. Made friends. Loved sport. How about first win? 13. She was 13. So local competition against other schools in area. Okay. So diet, healthy food, lots of fish, fresh fruit, all that. So once the more you read, the more you know which athlete are they talking about in this note. So I'll give you the answer, and you've probably come up with the answer as well. It's Pam Connor, right? The answer is Pam Connor. You write right under, read the notes. Which athletes are they about? You write Pam Connor. Pam Connor. I mean, you can tell from the very first information when it says when did they start. It says age from 7. And if you look at the pictures, the only one who started doing that sport is Pam Connor. She was 7 years old. So guys, for this exercise, you will try to imagine and become someone who is interviewing an athlete. Which athlete? One of these 3 athletes. Okay, prepare 6 questions. Okay, prepare 6 questions to ask one of them. So imagine that you're actually sitting down with one of these, maybe Frank Alesi or Jeremy Drake or maybe Pam Connor. Imagine you're sitting down with someone, with one of them, and try to come up with questions. And try to imagine what such an athlete would answer you in return. Okay, that's what you will do in this exercise. Moving on to the next page, 81. Page 81. So these exercises on this page are a review of chapter 9. Let's see. I'll read it for you and you write down the answers. I love doing exercise. It's good for your heart and it makes you feel great. When I started doing sport, it was sometimes hard to breathe. Please don't mistake the spellings. When I ran, but I'm a lot fitter now. So my lungs are stronger. I want to be an athlete one day. I'm a football player, and I would love to play for my favorite team. I want to be the captain of the team. If we win lots of matches, we'll win a special trophy. If I can't be a footballer, I'll be a coach and I'll train the players. That will be great. Next up, completing the sentences. It says complete the sentences. Use will, won't, or might. Number 1. I don't know what I want to be when I'm older. I might be a teacher. So when you read the sentence, it says I don't know. So this tells you that you need to use might. If you don't know something, you're not sure. So use might. Number 2. Harry practices football every day. I'm sure he will be on the team. So if you're sure about something, then you use will or won't. So the common sense, the logic is, if you practice, or let's say that if you study very, very much for an exam, you will get a high mark, right? You will know that. So cause and effect. Number 3, look, it's snowing a lot. We will not go to school today, right? So if it's remember when that time it snowed, we didn't go to school. So that's the same thing. This is happening here again. Number 4, Dad has to work on Saturday, so he won't come to the beach with us. So if someone is busy with something else, and you ask that person to go or to come with you to a place, he cannot come with you. Why? Because he's busy. That's how you know that this is won't. Dad has to work on Saturday, so he won't. Why? Because the dad has to work. He's busy on Saturday. Number 5, I'm not sure what to do. See, as soon as I see I'm not sure, I know that I have to use might. So I'm not sure what to do after school. I might go to Lisa's house. Number 6, Kelly is a great actress. I'm sure she will be in the play. Again, common sense, logic, cause and effect. Kelly is a great actress. If someone is good at something, then they will probably be accepted in the thing that they want to do, or that they apply for, or they compete for. Right? So that's how it works. You're sure about that? Okay, guys, moving on to this exercise, the last part of the review. It says in the instruction it says write sentences and questions with have to or had to. And it also continues to say use these marks to help you. How? The first mark helps you to create a positive sentence or an affirmative sentence. The second mark tells you, which is a cross, it tells you that your sentence must be negative. The third mark, which is a question mark, tells you that your sentence must be a question. Okay, so your sentence must be a question. Now let's try to solve the exercises. So number 1 says, or actually, you can see the mark. It's a question mark. So before I solve anything, I know that this sentence is going to be a question. Now let's see the information. We have Henry have to go to school yesterday. The solution to this question, if you focus on it, if you pay attention, it says, did Henry have to go to school yesterday? Why did we use did for the question? Because we have yesterday. It tells us that it was in the past. So we start the question with a past tense. Number 2, if you see the mark, it's a cross, so it must be in a negative sentence. So we don't have to wear a uniform for school. Okay, that's the solution for that. Number 2. Number 3, the mark says the mark is a tick, so that means we have a positive sentence. So Grandma had to walk to school when she was young. Why did I use had to? Because I know that it's talking about my grandmother in the past when she went to school. So my grandma had to walk to school when she was young. Number 4, we have a question mark. So, and also we have yesterday. So did Jamie have to help his mom and dad in the house yesterday? So did Jamie have to help his mom and dad in the house yesterday? And please, when you ask questions with do or did or does, the verb after that, okay, the verb in that sentence must be in its base form. Okay, so did Jamie have to? Or in the first sentence says, did Henry have to? Okay, because it's a question. Doesn't matter whether it's a past or present or whatever. Okay, number 5, again, question mark. Let's see. You do your homework after school. That's the information that we have. Is there anything that tells us this is about yesterday or the past? No. So we will treat it as something present. And we're going to ask about it. Do you do your homework after school? Okay. Number 6, and the last, there's a cross. So this question must be, this solution or the sentence must be negative. The information we have is, I get up early on Saturdays. So creating a question would be, I don't have to get up early on Saturdays. Alright guys, what I want you to do, lastly, I want you to focus, generally, on the types of questions that you have or see in the workbook, because you might see them on the exams. Okay, so there was one question in the exercise. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that this is the only one that'll come back in the exam. So you might see a similar question. For example, on page 75, exercise number 3 says, complete the sentences, use the antonyms of these words. Okay, so I might give you something like that. Okay, that's a very nice way of giving questions, and it tests your ability and your understanding of the topics. So be aware of that. Have a great day, and ciao. Have a good day. Bye bye.